When I was learning to ride a motorbike at the age of 50 something, I was engaged to write a piece for a biking magazine on passing my test around that age. And by the time I had finished, I had called the article Third Time Lucky, Fourth Time Lucky. Eventually, the final title was Fifth Time Lucky. I'm beginning to think that the video I put out here might be 25th time lucky. However, I'm going ahead. Today, I'm going to be talking about things that occur to me, because basically I haven't got much to do here, so I might as well play around with video. Played around with talking to text, which I'm becoming much more skillful at. And now I'm playing around with making videos. So sod the teeth, I haven't got the bra on, but I'm going ahead. And I'm very into people. People fascinate me, and I'm interested in many types of personality models. I don't see these as typifications. I try not to, but will fall into using the word type, because that's often the terminology that's used in these things. And you all know of personality typings, from astrology to the Myers-Briggs indicator, and all those other things that people go around saying, you know, I'm a Virgo, Enneagram, blah, 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 as if to define themselves. And indeed, these things are quite relevant. However, I won't get into the topic of horoscopes and the levels of horoscopes and astrology, but the model I'm talking about today is called the Enneagram, and this is my favourite book on the Enneagram. I don't know if it'll come out back to front. Yes, it is coming out back to front, but it's called The Wisdom of the Enneagram. And without going into a lot of detail, you can Google it. It's a model of personality types, which also has a form of spiritual growth embedded into it, so that you can look at each personality type and it will have various other additions from the other types. It's based on a geometric, almost a sacred geometry diagram that originated with Gurdjieff and has since been adapted by Riso and Hudson, who have written a lot about the Enneagram, have the Enneagram Institute. So getting down to the nitty-gritty, my personality type, the main dominant features of the type of which I am most associated with, is the Enneagram 7. And they call that model various names: the enthusiast, the generalist, the multitasker, the wunderkind, the dilettante, the connoisseur. I don't think that means that necessarily I'm a connoisseur of fine wines, and the energizer, and also the entertainer. So what I find useful about this model is that it offers a very multi-dimensional aspect onto how we develop certain personality types. And it's really based on when we're very young, very, very young, before we have really cognitive interactions. We notice what works for us, and as we get older, with the people around us who are caring for us, we notice what behavior gets our basic needs met, from the Maslow hierarchy type of thing. So my basic fear, should I say the Enneagram 7, I'm using this one today, the basic fear is of being deprived and trapped in pain. So this is time for reflection. And I look at my life, and I look around for here, for example, and see that I have stacked in 2 crates a heap of novels, which I have been buying ongoingly since the supermarkets here started selling them for charity donations. And they're by authors like James Patterson and Lee Child, and the kind of things that one would want to read if you're on holiday or in bed. And so I remember saying to myself, just in case I can't get to the library, out in my kitchen on top of the door, I know it sounds funny, but on a shelf above the door, are stacked about 20 packs of almond milk, organic almond milk, because I buy it when it's cheap, when they have it on offer. And I am a bit of a hoarder in terms of that. And I think there is a great sense in me, or a sense deep down, of being deprived. So even looking at the first comment in this book, where it says your basic fear is of being deprived and trapped in pain, well, yes, I do not like pain, and this incident for me has been yow. You know, when I get hurt, I go, screech. I'm a squawker, and of course sometimes it alarms people, and then I have to explain to them. And then the basic desire of this particular part is their great thing is being happy, being satisfied, finding fulfillment. Now that sounds very general, that a lot of people would have that experience too, but yeah, so carrying on about it, it calls it the busy, fun-loving type, and this spontaneous, versatile, acquisitive, and scattered. Now that's actually very much me. There are times when I can be incredibly scattered, where my thoughts are here, there, and everywhere. And there are times with versatility that I can take all those scatterings, and this is the upside of it, and bring them and merge them into one unique offering that has little bits of everything. It's the way I cook, it's the way I teach yoga, it's the way I ran my workshops. Everything is always an eclectic mix of different things. And then there's this versatility, the ability that I have, if somebody says to me, sorry, can't make today, I go, boom, another thought comes up, oh good, that'll allow me time to do this. So I've always got a contrary thought when something happens that other people might have thought, oh no, I've planned around going out with you today, and oh, you've ruined my day, and you know, that kind of thing. So what this book does is, when you begin to look at it, without wanting to talk about myself all the time, but using myself as an example, is that it has a tremendous offering for self-inquiry, and it has stories from people. It talks about the childhood patterns, and it gives examples of famous people. Robin Williams, Steven Spielberg, Jim Carrey, they're all in the similar grouping to me. It talks about because of the design of the Enneagram, because it's based on a geometric pattern, there are opposing points, and they all have some kind of relevance. For example, the 7 will have an opposing point to the 1, and when the 7 gets stressed, it will go to the 1, which happens to be much more pernickety and OCD-ish, and I've definitely noticed that in myself. So this is something that I used with many of my coaching clients, not as the main tool of the work I did with them, but to get them to begin to self-inquire and examine and see where they felt most affiliated, so that they would have a point of reference, and so would I, and yet it wouldn't be the only point of reference, because the main point of reference is noticing where they are right now and noticing what's changing, and then being curious about that as they're just having a conversation. So I think that's enough for now. This video is way too long. I think 8 minutes probably doesn't work, but I'm going to post it just to see what people think. Just for me to do something. And if I continue to do this and I can get them down really short and I can prepare stuff, oh my goodness, now it's beginning to sound tedious. Pictures and notes and all that kind of thing. This was just done very spontaneously. Spontaneity. So, yeah, that's it. Okay, bye for now.